Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and welcome to Tingo, who's debuting on the channel. Now, there's quite a few rules. I'm going to go into those immediately, and then do a few brief announcements, and then get on with solving the puzzle. So, the rules are these. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So we're putting 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box, as usual. Digits on thermometers, there's only one of those, must increase from the bulb end, so we get bigger as we go up the thermometer. Adjacent digits on a green line, these are German whisper lines, must differ in value by at least 5. So you could put 1 and 9 on those, or 1 and 6, but you could not put 3 and 7 there. Digits along a purple line are a consecutive set in any order. So that is a set of 8 digits that are consecutive, but they can take any order along the line. Digits joined by an X sum to 10. Digits joined by a white dot are consecutive. Digits don't repeat along the marked diagonal. And finally, digits along the between line, that's this one, must have a value between the digits in the two circles. So those are the rules of Tingo's puzzle, which obviously looks like a Tic Tac Toe or noughts and crosses game, and I'll look at that in about a minute and a half from now. But first of all, don't forget that on Patreon there's loads of extra content. We are coming up to a very special monthly reward, which is going to be a big old read. There's going to be basically a novella by Demono coming up, so there's Sudoku in it. Don't worry. There is a hunt contained within this brief novel, and I'm really looking forward to that. Haven't actually read a word of the novel yet, but that's really interesting. So this will be happening shortly. Oh, I've just realised. There we go. Yeah, sorry, that was something to do with the sizing of my screen. We'll see what happens at the end of the puzzle. Anyway, that is coming up, and there's always loads of extra content on Patreon, including my monthly club special cryptic crossword solve. Every previous monthly hunt is available on there, and there are some real doozies amongst them. And this month we had the Super Mario Brothers Sudoku hunt for kids. So that's all there, and do check out our apps. They're all on the links to the apps under the video. 9 different releases under 8 apps, which is why sometimes people point out that we have 9 pictures of the apps on the screen saying that there are 8 apps, because nowadays we have to put everything on the Cracking the Cryptic app so that we don't get dinged by Google, particularly for having content that's too similar. Believe me, no 2 of those apps are similar, except perhaps the 2 gas apps. You might say that. Genuinely approachable Sudoku in both. And there's all other things you can check out under the video, including Sven's Sudoku pad and the merchandise. But the first link is to this puzzle, which has, I love the fact that it's in a tic-tac-toe grid shape. And look, a line has even been drawn through the winning. Oh no, hang on, we've got, those are effectively X's with a line drawn through them. Oh, that's lovely. I hadn't actually fully understood that. We've got O's. O obviously started because there are 5 O's in the grid. Ah, well, hang on. Why did O write in their last digit after X had won it on their, presumably on their 4th turn? I don't know. But anyway, brilliant stuff. There has been a variant of Tic Tac Toe Sudoku where I think the most common form of that is where each box has exactly 3 even or 3 odd digits in a line somewhere, either on the horizontal, vertical or diagonal, but only one. And it's a really interesting solve as well, but I'm sure this will be too. Do give it a try. I am finally going to start now. Let's get cracking. Well, the one I can pencil mark the most is the thermo. So because there's only one cell in the box not on the thermo, there's only 1 degree of freedom in each cell along it. And these are the candidates for all the cells. It doesn't give us an idea of the candidate for this one. However, in the Renban boxes, we do know something about the middle cell. It's going to be 1 or 9. Now, that is because the sequence of 8 digits on these lines is either going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, leaving a 9 out, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, leaving a 1 out. Now, what about the between line? Is that giving us some quick wins? I think it is here. Right. Okay, what I'm going to say is, if this was a 2-8 pair adding up to 10, which is one of the possibilities, then the numbers on the line would have to come in between 2 and 8. They would have to be selected from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is only 5 digits, for 6 cells. Impossible. And clearly that situation gets worse if you make this 3, 7 or 4, 6. So that must be a 1, 9 pair. And it seems to be 1s and 9s that we're kind of getting. Now, having done that, I've kind of finished with this box. It's useless to me now, apart from that X, I suppose. I'm going to... okay, let's not discount that. No. I was going to say it can't be 6, 4. But actually it could be. This could be 5, 7, 8. So, well, that X will still come into play, but basically I've used the between line as far as I can. X here. This is a long old German whisper thing. Right, I get to trot out the facts I know about German whispers now. One of those is that the only digit that cannot appear on a green German whisper line is a 5. Sorry. 5, I said that entirely the wrong way. 5 can never appear on a German whisper line because it can never be adjacent to another sudoku digit and obey the rule. Now, 4 and 6 are difficult to place, partly because of the second fact which I omitted, which is that once we've taken 5 out, all the numbers are either below 5 or above 5, and you can never have 2 of those in a row. So the numbers must alternate in terms of highness and lowness along the rest of the line. However, the third fact is very useful here, which is that 4 and 6 are difficult to place on green lines because you can't put them in a position where their neighbours can see each other. So if I was to put a 4 here, these would both be 9 because that's the only digit that can go next to 4, and that's clearly not happening. So that's going to rule out all of these cells from being 4 or 6, and therefore I can put them into these 2 cells. Now, 4 and 6 have only one neighbour each possible. So these 2 are a 1-9 pair now. And I think there is a rule about these lines that basically, well, let's think about 3, which can never go next to 7. So it's got to go somewhere on the rest of this line where it's not touching 7. Well, if you put 3 there, that would be the low digit. Low digits would be purple. And these 2 high digits would be 7 and 8, and 3 would be touching 7. So the same goes for that cell. 3 must be in one of these cells, and exactly the same deal goes for 7. So that has to be there too. This is a 2-8 pair. We didn't even need the X to tell us that. But we haven't determined the polarity here at all. But nonetheless, we've reduced every cell in the box apart from the central one to one of 2 possibilities. We've got a 1-9 pair going in the row. This is actually a 1 or a 9 as well. Again, the alternation thing happens here. Let's use some different colours. Red there and yellow in all of those cells because they're all 1 away from it. And the reason I can put 1 or 9 in there is because in these cells we have all 4 high digits or all 4 low digits. And because they must include either 4 or 6 within them, this has to be 1 or 9. Now, that kind of seems to be the giveaway stuff. And I mean, there's a lot of it, and all the different rule sets, the things I know about them have all been applied. But where does that leave us? We've got a 1-9 pair there. We've got another 1 in this row. 5 can't be here because of the X, but it could be in any of these cells. Don't know. What about this that sees and this? They both see a 1-9 pair in their rows. And they've both got 2 neighbours, so they can't be 4 or 6, and they can't be 5. So they're from 2, 3, 7 and 8. Not actually all that helpful, I don't think. Now, that is either a 1 or a 9, which can't then be here. Is that useful? Don't think so. I suppose by the white dot, this is 5, 6, 7 or 8. This one is 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. It doesn't seem to do a lot. Yeah, I'm going to have to come up with something slightly cleverer than I'm achieving so far. Now, this is going to be either 8, 2, 7, 3 or 6, 4. So let's consider the effect. All of those have an effect on this group. So if that's 8, 2, this is 7, 6, 5. Then this has to go 4, 3, 2, 1, and that ends up being 8 or 9. If this is... okay, a much simpler way of looking at this is that this has a high digit on it. It has either 6, 7 or 8 on this X. Right, and that's forming a triple, a hidden triple, with, or is that what we call it? I don't know. A virtual triple, that's what we normally call it. So there's a 6, 7 or 8 in those cells because it's not a 1, 9 pair. And there are 2 of 6, 7 and 8 in those cells. So the 3 of 6, 7, 8 in this row are in those cells and not here. That therefore becomes a 5. So we can trace that back down to the beginning of the thermo. That gives us a 9 here because it's got a 1 looking at it now. Now, 1 and 9 in this row must both be in box 9. This is 6, 7, 8 or 9 now. These are all quite... Oh, there's a 2 there looking up at that. Now, if that was a 3, this is an 8, 9 pair. If it's not a 3... Oh, that's interesting. If it is a 3, that can't be an 8 because of the 2, 8 pair here. So I'm just going to sketch in what happens if that's a 3. Now, if it's 8 or 7, these are from 1, 2, 3. This one can't be a 3 and it can't be a 2, so that would have to be a 1. This one can't be a 1, so that would be a 2 or a 3. So quite limited possibilities here. I'd quite like to bring the big old diagonal into play, and I haven't done it yet, but... Now, if this is high, it's a 9, then that's... are these from 6, 7, 8? Not necessarily. Oh, what's this? This can't have a 3 or a 4 on it. It's either 1... It can't be 1, 9 because that would clash with this cell. So it's definitely a 2, 8 pair. Well, that's getting interesting. Now, the remaining cells in the column are from 1, 6, 7 and 9. This one can't be 1 or 9 because it sees them both in its row. Getting closer now. That can't be a 6 because it sees a 4, 6 pair in its row. This one is a bit unrestrained. There has to be a 6 in one of these cells in this box, so that's not a 6. Now the only way this is a... Oh, this is also not an 8 because of the 2, 8 pair. So this is definitely odd, and because odd has to sit with even on a white dot, this is even and is therefore 6. Now, these are all high. 6, 2... Oh, I don't know. I want to know where 5 is in this box. 6, 2... I haven't quite forced 8 into one of these cells, which would get it out of here and determine the polarity of this little line. But we're getting close now. We're getting close. Now, this can't be 6, 4, so it's 2, 3, or 7, 8, which is using the other of 7 and 8 from here. 1, 2, 3, 9. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. I don't think that's worth pencil marking quite yet. You know, I'm not afraid to pencil mark almost anything, but it doesn't seem much point in doing that one yet. I think we're very close to a break-in now. 5, 4, 3. I don't really think we've made one yet, actually. 1, 6, 7, 9. This is so uncertain. If it was a 1 and the yellows were low, that would be 2. This would be a 3, 4 pair. That would be 8. That would be 6. We'd have a 5, 7 here. There's a lot of consequences, but none of them are absolutely determinative, in my opinion. Right, 2 is in one of those cells, so it's not there. And in this box, it's not in any of those positions. So it's definitely in one of these 2. 8, not quite so clear cut. What about the diagonal then? Maybe I know more about this than I realise. Can't be 1, 4, or 5. It can't be 6 from the rule about not going on the line. So again, it's from 2, 3, 7, 8. So these 3 are 3 of the 2, 3, 7, and 8 on the line, on the diagonal. But which ones, I don't quite know. Okay, let's go back to this box. 3 and 4 haven't appeared in any of these pencil marks, so it's either that pair or this pair. Sorry, that pair. But I don't know which. 1 has to be somewhere in those 3 cells. Actually, 1 has to be somewhere in those 2, because if that's high, this is a 1. It's the only low option. And if that's low, it is a 1, because it's the only option. So 1 is in one of those 2 cells. Oh, if these were both high, then that is the full set of 4 high in the column. Then these would all be low. That would be low. No, I've forgotten about 5. Bother. Not quite through this yet. 1, 2, 3, 9. This is now 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. But I mean, that gives this anywhere between 3 and 9. Well, it can't be 9. So I'm just starting to wonder, is it interesting that it can't be 2? 2 is confined to one of those 3 positions in column 7. If it was here, it would be contributing to the 2, 3, 7, 8 quad. But if it was here, well, then it would form an X-wing with that 2. Doesn't quite get anything done, but we're very close, I feel now. So, right, this cell can't be 1 or 9 because of this X and that not being able to be 1 or 9. So 1 and 9 in this box can only be in those 4 cells possible. And in fact, that one is ruled out from 1 and 9 being in its row. So at least one of these is 1 or 9. If I could rule this out from being 1 or 9, then I'd know it was a pair in these 2 cells. Ooh, I'm just going to briefly colour those something to remind me that they are the cells where 1 and 9 can be in box 5. Now if it was there, this would be 2 or 8. No, I cannot see quite how that's sorting anything out for me. Oh, it's very close to rolling over. Right, this can't be a 7. Ah, maybe it can't be an 8 either. This can't be 1, 2 or 3. So this can't be 7 or 8 because of that connection on the green line. So this is low. So we've got some parity done. Let's not make that blue. Let's make that a different color. Oh, orange is silly as well. Let's go with bright green. Right, this is now low. So these two are high. This is... well, it's not 6 because it can't connect to a 1. So that's 7 or 8. This is 7, 8 or 9 in a similar vein. 1 is in one of those two cells. Not here. That has put a low 2 or 3 on the line. Is that going to do anything for me? Not really on its own. 7 or 8 there makes this high as well. 6, 7, 8 or 9 here. And now if these were high, they would be 6 and 7 with 9, 8 down here. 9 cannot be here because it's in one of those cells. Aha! So these cannot be high or we'd have too many 6, 7s and 8s in the column. Wow! Brilliant. Okay, good enough. So these greens are now low and can go blue. These purples are now orange and can go high. We can write in all the digits in this box like so and thusly. There we go. Box 3 finished. Now 9 there says that this is a 1. That says this isn't a 1, but it could still be a 9. Now this is now a 5. 3, 9, 4, 5. There's definitely a 7 on this white dot, so that's not a 7. That said the same story. 3, 9, 4, 5, 7. Ooh, 1 and 2. This one can't be a 6 either, so that is 1, 2 or 8. Hmm, 5 there. So now 5 is constrained to those two cells in box 4. What have we done up here? We've got a 1 there, so that can't be a 1. That is definitely now high. That's become a 6 based on my pencil marking earlier. Oh yeah, it's the 2, 8 pair. That's correct. Okay. Well, that's high as well. Now, if those two were high, that's all 4 highs gone in the row, in the box. Oh, that can't be a 7 anymore. That is getting reduced in terms of possibilities. Still haven't determined this. I hope I'm not just missing an obvious certainty there. This is not a 6 anymore. Got a 1, 7, 9 triple. Oh, come on. 2 or 3 there. Now these were where 1 or 9. In fact, 1 must now be in one of those two cells. It's very interesting. It hasn't quite finished it off for me. I've got all of those highs. 1 in this box, we knew that actually. It's in one of these. 2 and 3. 2 has to be in one of those. 3 has to be in one of those. Ah, it's not quite doing it. Oh, it's a really interesting puzzle, this. I'm sure there are plenty of available breakthroughs now. Probably, as I suggest, different ways of breaking through from here. That can't be a 5, they can't be 5s. 5 in this box is definitely in one of those two cells. And now 5 can only be here. Because 5's in one of those two cells, that's ruled out. So 5 can only be here in box 4. And that is actually kind of the opposite help that I wanted. I wanted to know where 5... well, I'd rather have put it there. It would have helped in column 2. But instead, we've got red and yellow, which have to become blue and orange at some point. Oh, those are low. So in this column, we've got 2 low, 2 high, one of each there, and then that has to be a different polarity from that one. Ah, that's a bit interesting. It means that's a different polarity from that. And in the rest of the column, we've got 2 highs and a low. And then we're saying those are different. Could these all be low? I think they could. Oh, frustrating. Right. And I still haven't reduced this cell's candidates at all. Ah, 7 and 8 were a virtual pair in those cells. So this is a 9. That doesn't automatically put 9 here. It takes it out of those as a candidate. And that doesn't really do anything for the whisper either. That really did very little. 5 is in one of those 2 cells in the column. Now, if that's not a 1, then this is 2, 3, 7, 8 as a set. The rest of the diagonal then would have to be 1, 4, 5, 6, 9. Where can 5 be on the diagonal? Not there, not there, not there. Not in any of these. So 5 is at one end of the diagonal or the other, which is a bit weird. In fact, look, where is 5 in column 1? The only place it can be is up here. Right. So it's not here on the other end of the diagonal, it's here in box 9. It's in one of those 2 cells and one of these 3. I can't really finish those off. This is now 3, 4, 6 or 8. It's not 3 in the row, so it's 4, 6 or 8. Now I am going to spend a little bit of time thinking about the whole diagonal, because there's some very odd reductions in possibilities. 9. Where's 9? One of those 2 cells is the 9 on the diagonal. And they both see that, which can't be 9 anymore, which is a bit strange. And reduces those to a kind of chocolate teapot triple. That's irritating. Chocolate teapot because it's useless. There's, for whichever value you choose, it doesn't resolve the other 2. Ah, frustrating. I think it's all about the diagonal now and my inability to see where things go on it. Right, where do 4... Here's a very interesting and lovely question. Where do 4 and 6 go on the diagonal? I don't know the answer, and clearly this cell has one of them as a possible. However, what I was going to say is you can't put them in those 2, because if you put 4 or 6 in that cell, it needs its counterpart there. So if you put it in that cell, it can't also be in that one. Or rather, it can't also go in that one. So those 2 are not 4 and 6. But one of them is. The other of 4 and 6 is down here, which therefore is 4 or 6 in the corner, which is very strange. Now, 3 and 8 must be in this group of cells. 3 is in one of those 2. Although 7 and 8 are a virtual pair. I've forgotten again, so that's not 8. Oh, that's really good, because now 8 in this column, now that we know that 8 is in one of those cells, 8 is on this white dot. So it is a 7, 8 white dot. Everything else in the column is 1, 2 or 6. I know that can't be a 3, 7 pair, but it doesn't quite resolve the thing for me. Now I've got, let's check the diagonal again. 4 and 6 there, and the other of 4 and 6 is in one of those 2. These 3 are from 2, 3, 7, 8. I don't know. I still... What about this? I suppose it could be from 2, 3, 7 and 8. It's just not resolved for me yet. Oh my goodness, I'm doing quite badly here. Oh, 6. One of those is a 6 in this column, and that's a 6. So this is a 6. Right, so 4 is in one of those 2 cells. That probably isn't going to get anything done. This is now a 3, 4, 8 triple. 5 and 6 there. These are from 1, 2, 9 and 7. I don't think that's going to help me at all. How about 6 in the bottom row? 1, 2, 3, 9, 6. This one is a naked single. It sees 5 in its box and a 7, 8 pair. So that becomes a 4. 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 9 are all done. This is from 1, 2 or 3. And they form a virtual triple there, but they leave 4 placeable in this box. Now 4 can't be here in the central box and it goes here. That's on an X and gives me a 6. I can place 6 in box 8 and in box 2. And here, and suddenly 6 is going to be the first digit fully done in the puzzle, which feels absolutely bizarre. That was not the digit I was expecting, but it's turned up in a really important place in box 4 because that is now high. Yellow becomes orange, red becomes blue, and this is a 1. These are high, and this is probably going to finish the puzzle. That's a 9. I've got 3 and 4 still to place in that box. But I imagine that this has become 9 and this becomes 1, and now I know about high-low on this green line as well. That gives me an 8 in this cell. That takes 8 as a possibility out of there, reduces that to 2 or 3. 9 is looking at this. This box is finished. I can do the 7 and 8 here. This now doesn't have a 7 in, so it's a 2, 8 pair. That's going to finish box... Not quite. Oh, yes, it is going to finish box 9 for me. That's a 3, 4, 2, 8. This is a 5, 7 pair. Can't resolve those yet. That 3... Oh, look, and that 2 are both looking into the centre, which is a 7. That has to be surrounded by 1 and 2. I'm getting rid of the green, because now all they're telling me is that 9 is in one of these 2 cells. I suspect I'll know very shortly which one it's in. 8, 2, that's become a 2, 7, 3. This is a 4, 8 pair, so this is a 1, 9 pair. And 9 is looking at that cell, which is a 1. 6, 4, 7, 2, 5, 9. That's not a 1, obviously now. 3 and 8 still to place in the central box. Now, what about this pair? That's become a 5, first of all. These are from 4, 8 and 9, so it is definitely an 8, 9 pair. And we know which way round, thanks to the 9 in row 3. So we did get this 9 resolved fairly quickly. 4 there, 9, 7, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3. That's all the first 3 columns completed. First 3 rows coming next. They're done. This final column is done, and now it's just box 5 to finish off a very nice puzzle. Good flow to that. There we go. And that is the solution to Tic Tac Toe 3 in a row by Tingo, which is an excellent debut on the channel. Thank you, as always, for watching us if you do that. And if you've heard that comment, you do it. And thank you for being with us. It's always a pleasure to have your company. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.